and welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to compare the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Palette, which looks like this. This one is the remastered Rose Gold Palette, and I am going to compare this with Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance Palette, which looks like this. Obviously, this is a well-loved palette of mine. I've been using this for months. You can see that some of the eyeshadows already hit pan, and this is my first time to actually use the Huda Beauty palette. I've been curious about this because I've tried the Huda Beauty Nude Palette and I was amazed by the glitter and the multi-reflective eyeshadows on that palette. If you want to know more about that review, I'll put the link down below. And I was looking at Pinterest, and there's an article there that says that the Huda Beauty is a dupe for the Modern Renaissance, or other way around. The Modern Renaissance is actually a dupe for the Huda Beauty. So I thought of testing them out. So I'm going to do the swatches of the eyeshadows that I think are quite similar with both of these palettes. I'm gonna put the eyeshadow from Modern Renaissance on top, and then at the bottom the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Remastered. There's a lot of shimmers here in this palette compared to this. So this one has 8 melted metals, and this one has 2 shimmers and 1 like satin finish, which is the antique bronze. So most of the swatches that I'm going to do to compare the two eyeshadows will be mostly matte. I noticed that red ochre from the Modern Renaissance, it's similar to Huda Beauty's henna, which is this. Oh, so the Huda Beauty is very pigmented. Raw Sienna, this is from the Anastasia palette. So that's Raw Sienna. I find that it's similar to Sandalwood from the Huda Beauty. As you can see now from the two eyeshadows, the Huda Beauty wins when it comes to pigmentation. With the Huda Beauty, with one swipe, you can already see its color. The Venetian Red is from the Anastasia palette. And the Man Eater is from the Huda Beauty. Again, Huda Beauty wins when it comes to pigmentation. Love Letter from Anastasia and Risk from Huda Beauty. With shimmers, there's only 2 really shimmery eyeshadows with the Anastasia palette, and that is the Primavera. That's like a champagne color. And I'm gonna swatch the one that's close to it. It's Bubbly from Huda. The Primavera is lighter than the Huda Beauty. And then Vermeer, which is a pearly pink color, versus, I don't know if it's Moon Dust or Pink Diamond. I guess Moon Dust. Oh no, maybe Pink Diamond. So when it comes to shimmers, the colors are very different, I find. Modern Renaissance is more of a peachy champagne color, and then the Huda has a pink tone. And then with the Anastasia Vermeer, this one has the pearl pink, and then the Moon Dust has the yellow pearl. I guess this two is in the same family, but still very different shade. I already removed the matte swatches, but when it comes to matte, I find that the Huda Beauty has more pigmentation than the Anastasia Modern Renaissance. So the next step will be to test these eyeshadows on my eyes. I feel like I wanted to do the Modern Renaissance on my right and then the Huda Beauty on my left. Let's see which eyeshadows perform better when it comes to blendability and pigmentation. So let's start. Let's do it. I feel like I just want to do 3 eyeshadows to test this because there's not a, although they belong to the same color family, they're not very alike. I'm just gonna stick with maximum 3 eyeshadows to test this. So for all over on my right side, I'm gonna go with Raw Sienna, and I've worked with this Modern Renaissance palette for a long time. I've been using this with my bridal clients as well. I know that this really blends well. So that's Raw Sienna. I didn't have a problem blending it. And then on my left side, I'm going to use Huda Beauty's Sandalwood. That's weird because when I swatch it on my hand, the Huda Beauty is very pigmented. But right now, this is my third time to dip in the palette. Still need more. It's also easy to blend, but I find that I always have to dip the eyeshadow from the palette and then put it on my crease. So this is like my fourth time to dip it. So I'm gonna do Cypress Umber on my outer crease, which is this one. And then on my left side, I'm going to use this cool tone brown, which is suede. It's funny because side by side, they're nothing alike. This looks like a grayish brown, and then the Modern Renaissance looks like a warm brown. But when I swatch it, this is suede and this is the Cypress Umber. So they're actually very similar. I feel like this is better when used with your fingers. I don't know why. Than with a natural fiber brush. Yep, better with my fingers. See? It lays really well when I use my fingers. The shimmer will be hard, but I'm going to use the Primavera from the Modern Renaissance. And maybe I'm going to mix two colors from the Huda Beauty. Then I'm going to use Moondust from the Huda Beauty palette. Oh, actually on my eye, they look very similar now. I love the shimmer from the Huda Beauty palette. Even with my nude palette from Huda Beauty, I love all the multi-reflective pigments. When it comes to shimmer, Huda really knows her shite. So I'm just gonna add more on this side. Primavera. I'm gonna put it high up because I have hooded lid, so it doesn't really show up much. So this is how it looks like on my eyes. So this is the Modern Renaissance one, and this is the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Palette. Only thing that I noticed with the Huda Beauty is that it didn't really blend properly here, and I have to always dip on the palette. The best way to use this eyeshadow, I find, is when you're using your fingers, which is hard if you're doing this to a client. I guess for yourself, that's fine, you can use your own fingers, but for sanitary purposes, I guess your clients would appreciate if you use a brush instead of your fingers. And it's just weird to be like putting makeup and putting eyeshadows with your fingers for the whole eye makeup. So I'm just going to finish my look, put lashes on, put eyeliner, and then I'm going to give you my final thoughts on this two palette, the Modern Renaissance by Anastasia Beverly Hills versus the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Remastered palette. So yeah, so I finished my look, I put on my liner, I put on my lashes, and still my only concern is with the Huda Beauty side. The matte eyeshadow, the dark one, even though I put a liner on, I was like, okay, it's gonna hide that little bump there that I can't still cover even if I put more. It just doesn't want to blend. But with the shimmers and with that crease color, I'm good. It's just that dark charcoal brown color that doesn't really want to blend. Even if I use my fingers and pat it on, you can see it's very patchy on this side, right? But when it comes to color, you can see that this two really looks very similar. You wouldn't even notice that I'm wearing a different palette on this side and a different palette on this side. So I would somewhat consider this a dupe of each other. The obvious difference between these two palettes is this one has 18 shades and this one has 14 shades. So this has 4 more eyeshadows. When it comes to price, this one is 85 Canadian dollars and this one is 55 Canadian dollars. I'm not sure if this one comes with a brush. I didn't see, but this one came with a brush and I really love the brush as well. When it comes to blendability, when it comes to matte colors, it's quite difficult to blend the matte eyeshadows from the Huda Beauty palette. That was also my main concern with my nude palette. I feel like that will be a problem when I'm going to use this for my client, because for my clients it has to be really fast, especially with weddings. As much as possible, I want my eyeshadows to be very blendable. But again, damn, the shimmers on this palette is outrageous. I'm gonna swatch the shimmers. This is Dubai. It has that army green gold shimmer. This one is Fling, right? Trust Fund. Look at that copper shade. Looks gorgeous. And then rose gold, of course, and the 24K, which is the very yellow gold color. When it comes to shimmer, Huda Beauty really got it. So for my final thoughts, I think that if you already have this palette and you don't have a lot of shimmers in your kit, then you need the Huda Beauty to add on. But if you don't need a lot of shimmers in your kit, I unfortunately am going to pass with this Huda Beauty palette. Although it has amazing shimmer, I feel like I'm just gonna waste my money on having this matte colors. I feel like I don't need this matte eyeshadows, so I'm going to pass. But if Huda Beauty is going to sell this shimmers individually, or if she's going to release a palette that has all the shimmers, no mattes, I will be up for it. I will be buying it. But because I really had a problem with the nude palette and with this palette when it comes to the matte shadows, and for my clients and for myself, I really need those matte eyeshadows, especially for bridal. So with this comparison in between the Modern Renaissance and the Huda Beauty, I would pick the Anastasia Modern Renaissance and not pick this palette. I know it's very pretty, and that's just for personal preference. That's because I don't need a lot of shimmer in my kit and I already have this palette and I've been working with this for months and months and I'm good with it. But again, if you're looking for a palette that has good shimmers, then this will be the palette for you. If you have any more requests when it comes to palettes that I should be comparing with, just comment down below. I've also reviewed the Huda Beauty Nude Palette. If you want to know more about that palette, I'll be putting the link down below. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you on my next one. Mwah.
Stay to watch it. Be so fun in the next day. Bye.